Shalom, Israel. First off, I just want to say, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakwa Kwadash. Want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to the brothers that's co-laboring in his faith. And for the few sisters that watch and believe, shalom to you as well. All through the Spirit, I just wanted to just hit a few scriptures. I'm not going to make it too long, but we'll see what the Spirit do either way. Just going into, a high holy day that we got actually coming up within like the next month, I believe, according to how we can keep it, based on how Esau got the times messed up, but it's Purim, and just going into some history as to why that was set up to be a high holy day into the generations of our people. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and go right to it. This is an account in the book of Esther, the 3rd chapter. I'll start at the 7th verse. It says, in the first month, that is the month Nisan. So that right there, that establishes the first month. The first month is known as Nisan, But I'm gonna keep going. I'll get that later. But it says, in the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast Pur. You know what I'm saying? And it says, and it qualifies it because you break down that word Pur, it just means lot. It says they cast Pur, that is the lot, before Haman from day to day and from month to month to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. So, the 12th month, which would be the last month within the year, is known as Adar. So we're coming upon Adar, even though Esau got the times messed up, to the best of our ability through the new moon. We use that as a sign to measure, what month and everything that we in. But we're making a transition right now. We're coming up upon the month Adar, and then we're going to transition into the first month of the new year, which is Nisan, which is, close to the Passover. But Purim is basically kept in the last month of our year, Adar. I'm going to keep going in this account. Salakia Akim. Just go back. This is Esther 3 and 8. It says, and Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. So this is Haman, the demon, which I'm going to go into a little bit more. He's actually known as also as Ammon, or Haman the Agagite, which Agagite or Agag, that's kind of like a dynasty name, just like when you go into like the line of the pharaohs, the line of Nebuchadnezzar, the line of Artaxerxes, Salmanazar, so on and so forth. It's the same that applies to Agag, which I'm going to go into a little later. Haman, he's a descendant of Agag, which is the king of Amalek. So furthermore, he's a damn Edomite, and he's the chief house of Edom. He's an Amalekite, a so-called Jew. So here's a so-called Jew. He's basically, he had a high seat in the Persian Empire, and he was going before the king, basically to try to get the king, to try to get in the king's mind to come against the nation of Israel, our people. I'm going to read this again. This is Esther 3 and 8. It says, and Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there's a certain people scattered abroad, and that goes to show too, man, that our people were always scattered abroad. And it says, and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. So basically, he was saying, hey, he was pleading to the king, basically, hey, we got to get rid of these Israelites, man. They're keeping laws diverse from all the rest of the people, and neither are they keeping the king's laws. So Haman was basically making his plea before the king that, hey, it's not profitable to suffer them. He had a deep hatred in his heart for our people, And you can just read this whole book, Esther. It's a great book, going into Mordecai, which with Mordecai, he was the cousin, but he pretty much became the guardian of Esther. And Mordecai was in the spirit to not bow to Haman. So Haman had a deep-seated hatred towards specifically Mordecai, but just the whole of the nation of Israel. And he wanted to do away with them. You know? I'm going to keep going. It says, verse 10, and the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. So the king took his ring from his hand and gave it to Haman. So that shows that these damn demons, man, these Amalekites, they always had high influences, you know, in other nations' kingdoms, man. You know, he had a high seat. He had the king's ear, basically, you know. So, verse 11, it says, and the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, meaning the Israelites, and it says to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. So basically, we were given in the hand, you know, into the hand of Haman, this damn Amalekite. But I know I'm kind of going all over, but I'm just getting historical references as to why today we keep the high holy day known as Purim, or in Hebrew, I think it's Power Yom. And that word pure, it means lots. So basically, in a nutshell, Haman the Agagite, he was basically casting, he cast a lot to come up against our people. But I'm gonna get more into the account in a later chapter here. Just emphasizing on why it was established as a high holy day for the nation. Yeah, this is Esther 9 and 22. It says, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies in the month which was turned into them from sorrow to joy and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy and sending portions one to another and gifts to the poor. So just going back into that word, which I didn't even look it up, Salakiakim. I'm kind of getting sidetracked, but it's a lot of information, but I'm going to just try to get a real quick overview of it that'll just hopefully be edifying, just so brothers will just know just the basics as to why we keep this high holy day known as Purim, which is coming up. You know, it's a great high holy day, so it's a feast, you know. But in the Hebrew, yeah, it's power ra. That's pure. Pure is power ra, and then you add the yum at the end to make it plural. But it says pure or purim, it's a lot or piece. Let me see if I can get something out the lexicon. Yeah, the Feast of Purim. It means a part, a portion, whence, divide, part, lot. So that's what the word pure means, or Purim. It just means a lot or a piece. I'm going to keep going. This is back in Esther 9 and 23. It says, and the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them. It says, because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all Jews. So, man, this is a natural born enemy. You know what I'm saying? It says, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast pure, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. So here's what Haman came in the wicked stead to do to our people. He actually cast the lot to destroy us, man. I'm going to read this again, actually. That's a good chapter, or a good verse. This is Esther 9 and 24. It says, because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, and it's the same thing today, man. You know, we know who's controlling the earth, man. Those Khazars, those fake rat Jews in the Holy Land right now. And they got a dire hatred towards the real people, man. You know, that's why they set up devices, man, and encapsulate this whole world as we know it in deception. You know, to just keep us basically removed out the earth if they could have it their way. It says, the enemy of all the Jews had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast pur, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. I'm going to keep reading. It says, but when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Verse 26. Wherefore, wherefore they call these days Purim, after the name of Pur, which that word Pur means lots. It says, therefore, for all the words of this letter and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them. So that's pretty much where you. I'm gonna keep reading actually. Verse 27. It says, the Jews ordained and took upon them and upon their seed and upon all such as joined themselves upon them, so as it should not fail that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their appointed time every year. So that appointed time every year, because around the time where Haman the Agagite had basically cast that lot to conspire against the Jews, was in the last month of the year, which is known as Adar. You know, so we know it's the time right before the Passover, basically a month before the Passover, because the Passover is in the new year, which is referred to as Nisan. And it says, verse 28, here's the point. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. So basically, it's just a high holy day to commemorate a deliverance, man, out of a wicked, demonic, you know what I'm saying, Amalekite's hands, man. If he had his way, you know, he had cast a lot to destroy us, man. But the king showed favor to us, man, you know, because he had favor on Esther, you know. So you can go more into the account of Esther to get more historical reference, but I just wanted to just go into a brief overview to explain why we keep Purim. But I wanted to go more into this guy Haman, just to kind of prove, because the scriptures I read in Ezra, I think the 3rd chapter, it says, and actually also the 9th chapter, it says he was an enemy of the Jews. But I'm just in Wikipedia here, Haman. It says also known as Haman the Agagite or Haman the Evil. Wow. And this is the point I wanted to get. It says, as his name indicates, Haman was a descendant of Agag, the king of the Amalekites. You know, which I'm going to hit this real quick to just show why the Jews were, you know, the biggest enemy to Haman, because he knew the history of our people, man. That's why he felt a certain way about our people as a whole, and especially Mordecai, because Mordecai wasn't bowed down to him, man. You know, this is 1 Samuel chapter 15, and this whole chapter in 1 Samuel, the 15th chapter, is great to get, you know, to get you know, a specific idea on what was going on. Basically, Saul, he was given commandment that he didn't keep, and Samuel had to, you know, slay the king of the Amalekites. But I'm gonna get this real quick. 1 Samuel 15:8. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. So that's the point that I'm making right here. In the book of Samuel, it refers to Agag as the king of the Amalekites, which I just read also through Wikipedia. I'm sure you can get it out of other sources, that Agag, the king, or Haman, he descended from Agag, the king of the Amalekites. That's why he was known as Haman the Agagite. But this is why Haman most likely considered the Jews a mortal enemy, man, because he knew the history. I'm going to get this real quick. I think it's in around 18. Salaki, brothers. I'm just trying to find. Where is it at? Okay, it's way down. This is 1 Samuel 15:33. It says, so basically after Saul, he didn't keep the commandment, because we was given a commandment to go in and slay all of the Amalekites, but Saul, he spared Agag, the king of the Amalekites. So Samuel basically had to fulfill the commandment. Yeah, I'll start at 32. 1 Samuel 15:32. Then it says, Samuel, bring ye hither to meet Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him delicately, and Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. And Samuel said, As thy sword hath made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. So I just want to get that account where Samuel basically slayed Agag. So Haman the Agagite, you know, who most likely that was probably his grandfather or something like that. I haven't really went into the genealogy of Haman, but he was a descendant of Agag, the king of the Amalekites. So he knew that history. So that's why he was basically conspiring to get rid of the Jews, you know, within the Persian Empire. But the point that I'm making, how it relates today, man, and especially it's coming up, Purim, you know, just commemorating that time where the Lord showed us favor through the king, through Esther and Mordecai. You know, we're coming into that time today, man, because our enemy's still in power. And if they could have it their way, man, or really, man, these elites, man, they've already basically cast lots to destroy our people, man. I'm going to get this real quick. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, Let Satan, you know, which Satan means adversary, and our adversary, the Edomites, chiefly the Amalekites, they're still in power today. You know, it says, Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So everything is set up to basically make the people of the Lord, the Israelites, go off. And if they could have it their way, man, they would put us to extinction. But the men, the elect, the hopeful elect, man, that's been built up in the spirit of this truth, man, we understand Satan's advices. We're not ignorant. So that's why we move the way that we move, man, taking heed, you know, understanding the time that we're in, because all through the spirit, Haman might be back here today, man, and already cast that lot to conspire against our people, man. You know, he's probably one of those high up, you know, elites. But this is, you know, here's another good scripture. This is Revelation 12:12. It says, Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So we finna see the wrath of these devils again, man, just like during the time of the Persian Empire with Haman, man. They didn't already cast lots to destroy us, man, and especially the men that are proclaiming to be Israelites and prophesying and basically condemning Great Babylon. You know, they've already cast lots to come against us, man. We already know that. You know, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. So that's why all the more through the spirit, Purim is coming up. It's a time to rejoice on the deliverance that we got to look forward to, man. If we keep pressing forth, if we endure to the end, you know, from the hand of our wicked enemy that's going to come in that same spirit of Haman, with that, just that fierce hatred towards us, that perpetual hatred, you know. Let's see here. Salakia. But I think the point's been made, man. I didn't really have too much I really wanted to go into specifically on this. I just wanted to just do a quick basic overview as to why uh, or what Purim is, you know, in the Bible, and just kind of go into a little bit of the historical background or backdrop and references, man, as to why we keep that as a high holy day. You know, just as a time to celebrate, you know, a great deliverance, man, you know, out of a demon, man. You know, the Lord showed favor on his people. So it's just a joyous time to, you know, break bread with brothers, you know, and just really keep your mind on what's to come as far as the time frame that we in now, man. You know, we know Satan, like I just read here in Revelations 12:12, you know, he knows that he has a short time, so he's about to come with great wrath, man. You know, so brothers just got to be in the spirit to recognize the things that were written aforetime within the legacy of our people, and understand that if we're coming in a lot of doing what we're supposed to do and being in the spirit of our power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, we're going to be delivered whenever these elites, these demons, man, cast lots to consume us this time, you know. So with all being said, hopefully this was edifying just for younger brothers, especially who may not know what Purim is or why, we keep it, as a high holy day. So with that, I just want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to you, sincere Akim. Shalom.